Master Coach Apostle Courtney McLean and Business Coach Zidane Sinister are powered up to share their expertise on the business end on Gospel JA. Tune in at 3:30 weekly for practical solutions to start and or move your business ultimately to a next level. The door is wide open, designed purposefully for you to walk right in. So take your seat, but don't forget to tell a friend or a colleague. And of course, have your tools on hand, your notebook and your pen. Classes are in session every Tuesday, 3:30 on Gospel JA for the business end. Master Coach Apostle Courtney McLean and Business Coach Zidane Sinister await you.
Good afternoon, listeners and viewers. Welcome to another episode of The Business End. And here on The Business End, we provide real and practical solutions to advance businesses by speaking to experts in the field and existing entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Zidane Sinister. Now, here on The Business End today, not to be outdone, we have with us Lady Kelli-Dawn Hamilton. She's a distinguished professional with an extensive background in policy development, international trade, public relations, and investment facilitation. Now, she's the current CEO of Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority, and Lady Hamilton has been a transformative force in driving organizational success and fostering economic growth. She has over a decade of experience contributing to Jamaica's development at her role in the JSEZA and the Jamaica Promotion Corporation, better known as JAMPRO, where she played a pivotal role in attracting, advancing, enhancing communication strategies and economic growth. Beyond her professional achievement, Lady Dawn Hamilton as a catalyst for entrepreneurship across the Caribbean, empowering local businesses to expand their market reach and, of course, their market buck and share of the consumer wallet. So we are here. We are very pleased to have with us Mrs. Kelli-Dawn Hamilton. Welcome to the Business End Show.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. And listeners, I know you're not seeing her, but she is radiant in her red, bright, and as usual, looking lovely. So tell us more about the Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority, and what role does it play, if any, in fostering economic growth and expansion in Jamaica?
Thank you. So the Special Economic Zone Authority is the entity of the government of Jamaica with responsibility for the growth and development and regulation of special economic zones. So the next question we normally get is, what are special economic zones? So anybody familiar with what used to be the free zone space? This is a modernized version of that. So under the free zone, 80% of output had to be geared towards export. In the special economic zone, all of your output can be sold to the local market. It doesn't matter. What we provide is an incentive regime that makes it more cost effective for companies to do business. So in the SEZ, companies get a lower corporate income tax rate. They get a rate of 12.5% that can go down to 7.75. In the regular economy, you're paying 25%, as low as 17.75. In the SEZ, you can pay as low as 7.75% corporate income tax. For developers in the SEZ space, their corporate income tax on rental income is actually 0%. So we are prioritizing and incentivizing the build out of infrastructure for commercial growth in the country. Long and short of our mandate is that we are here to drive economic development by facilitating business. That is our goal. For companies that operate within the SEZ, they also don't pay duties on items that they import for use in their zones, and they don't pay GCT on goods or services purchased for use in the zone. So ultimately, it makes it more cost efficient to do business within an SEZ. I must point out, though, that SEZ is not for every type of business. There are some businesses that can't come in. But the question I normally get here is, where is the SEZ?
Yes.
We like to think of Jamaica as the special economic zone. So the entire country plays a role in this, making Jamaica a hub to do business. So we have an initiative called the Jamaica Logistics Hub Initiative, which we are pushing, and the SEZ, I like to say, is the gas that really fuels it. So the SEZ regime provides the incentives, and the logistics hub is what we're trying to push the country to be. that is the place of choice where trade is happening, where business is happening. You know, the Vision 2030, Jamaica, the place of choice to live, work, do business, play, and raise families. That is what we are doing with this incentive program. So where is the SEZ? The SEZs are located right across the island. We actually have 148 companies operating across 193 locations across the island. We have proliferation of SEZs in both Kingston and St. Catherine, and then we have a smattering in other parishes as well. We recently opened one of our companies, Teleperformance, and it was in the papers this week. They opened a new location in Westmoreland, and it's really that with that building, you know, it will change, and that opportunity, it will change the landscape of that parish, or certainly the corridor along which it has been established. So that is what the Special Economic Zone Authority
does. All right, so I would follow up with that, however, Lady Hamilton, and ask, you made mention that there's not every business can be a part of the Special Economic Zone. Now, what are the type of businesses that can and what can't?
Okay, so we have what is called a negative list, and it is the sectors that can't get SEZ. So bauxite, tourism, banking and financial services, retail, those can't get SEZ. Utilities and right, that's generally what can't get. Mining can't get either. The reason why these industries can't get Special Economic Zone designation is because they already have incentives that support those industries. SEZ is really driving growth of the other industries that we haven't really focused on as a country. So, for example, the business process outsourcing industry, or what we now term the global digital services sector, is a big part of our Special Economic Zone regime and a big driver of jobs and economic growth in the country. And so that sector that sector makes up the majority of our clients. But we do have clients within the manufacturing space, agro-processing, logistics, warehousing. If you intend to set up a farm, for example, and do processing of the foods on your farm, the processing aspect of your business can get Special Economic Zone designation. For persons who have buildings, who have land, what we are seeing now is a proliferation in terms of the requests for commercial space. And so what our clients are demanding is more warehouse space, for example, cold storage, that type of thing. So for persons who have land, it's a very good opportunity to get into commercial real estate through SEZ, and at a more cost-effective rate. Of course, there are fees associated with the SEZ, and that is payable by the developer annually. So it's 20 cents per square foot for your revenue generating, for your building, 5 cents for your non-building spaces. So we are excited about the prospects for growth for the regime, and certainly, you know, what it has in store for the country.
Yes, we are very excited. Also, what I want to add to that is that you have persons who would like to, for how you would have phrased it, to come on board with their land. But I'm sure there are other agencies that, in terms of the development thrust, there are some areas in which they can't necessarily develop and be a part of the SEZ. Do you care to mention prevent them or prohibitive factors that will lead those areas forming a part of the development?
Okay, so I think you're asking geographically where is excluded from
yes, because there are. I know you have to liaise with the development plan of the particular parish in order for you to be a part of this building out of the commercial space, because you know commercial spaces is a part of the what we call development plan. I have to get development plan approval and stuff, development order and stuff like that.
Yes, absolutely. You know, you raise a very good point.
Yes.
Because what you're seeking to ascertain is, you know, where are the bounds of SEZs? Where can you go and where can't you go? So we are in accordance with the laws of the land. Yeah. If the development orders indicate that commercial development can't take place, then it can't take place. Yeah. So in terms of where SEZs can be developed, it's wherever commercial development is allowable according to the rules of the land. land.
Yes. So I wanted to make that point, though, because our viewers and listeners may not necessarily be au fait with that. So I wanted them to make sure that you can get a part of SEZ, but you have to make sure that your development order is also in alignment with that. Let's step back a bit. You would have had an impressive journey in policy development, international trade, investment facilitation. What inspired you to go into that area?
When I went to high school, actually, from I was in prep school, I always knew that my calling was within the government space. In prep school, when I was about 7, I thought it was in the political space. Yeah. By the time I was 13, I realized, no, that's not the space that I will play or make an impact. Yes. The Lord has always impressed upon me a very clear vision and path of where I need to be, certainly by this time in life. And, God has been good to me in that I am there. I am there in a position where I can make an impact on our country. And that has been the trajectory of my career thus far. I certainly hope that I have more to go, but, in terms of how has my journey evolved is what is a question. I've worked in government. I've always worked in government. I did a stint in the private sector because I thought it was important to get a fulsome view of the areas that we're trying to change. One of the challenges I had working through in my own head was being in the public sector but not understanding private sector and what businesses need. And so I did do a few years in the private sector as well. So I think I have a balanced look at what it is that we're developing in terms of policy, how we're pushing trade, how we're promoting investments in the country. I think I've lost the thread of your question, but I hope I'm giving the information.
Yes, that's fine. That's fine. Having the best of us. I did a brief stint also in regulator. I played a role at the Bank of Jamaica. And like you, I wanted to see and have a feel of a total sector. So I went into private sector, never returned. But big up and bless up yourself, the Bank of Jamaica. You're a foundation of my development after the master program. What sort of key initiatives and strategies that you have embarked on, and how has that developed or helped to boost Jamaica?
So there are 3 things that we're doing at the Special Economic Zone Authority. There are certainly 3 areas of focus that I'm pushing. The first one is in relation to our existing clients. We have 148 companies within our SEZs. Now, it's far easier to grow with what you have than what you don't have. Yeah. And so we are actively engaging in a program of engaging with our existing investors in order for them to reinvest, expand. And that engagement really looks at how do we help? So whether it is through connections with other businesses, connections in overseas markets, we are doing that work on the ground with our clients. The other thing that we are doing, and this is being led through our Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce by our Minister, Senator the Honorable Albin Hill. He has been leading ministerial missions into overseas markets, and on these missions, taking private sector entities with us. And so what that has done, it has really given our private sector a first-hand view of what markets require. Now, understandably, when you're traveling with a minister, you're in rooms and you're able to speak to people, or businesses are able to speak to people in other countries that they probably would not have had access to. And so the tone and texture of the conversation is much richer for our private sector entities who participate in these discussions. So we would have gone to countries such as Ghana, Suriname, and that they're burgeoning right now. Yeah. Ghana needs everything. All services. They have 700,000 people on the island, or 750,000 persons, and they just found how much billion barrels of oil, right? And they're exploring that. So you can imagine, with the large tracts of land that Ghana has and the massive infrastructure work that is going on there, that they need all services. And we think about, when we think about Ghana, sometimes I think we think about the services related to oil and the finding of oil, but consider this: if it is that this country is going to grow through oil, they will have far more people coming into their country rather, And these people are going to need services. They're going to need doctors. They're going to need restaurants. They're going to need places for entertainment. They're going to need places of worship. They're going to need a host of things. And so the opportunity is very ripe in Ghana. Suriname recently found oil as well. And so that is a big catalyst for us. And the opportunity for Jamaica is really, how do we bridge that gap for these countries that are going to grow at an exponential rate, but who don't have the infrastructure that we have. So that's a big opportunity. We also have gone to the United States, Canada, UK, Trinidad. We have gone to a lot of countries.
Yes,
and
yes.
in every country that we go, the biggest thing that we find, people cannot get enough of our Jamaican products. They want our products. They want our ackee or breadfruit or avocado. They want our products and they can't get enough. And so for everybody who has a plot of land, farming is the way to go. You have to be farming, right?
Yeah.
In addition to the backyard farms, of course, we have to look at sector development, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we want to capitalize on as an organization as a country, is our strategic location, right? So we are a natural hub.
Yes.
We are a natural hub. We are a natural point for countries to transship. And so we want to capitalize on that. The third thing that we have to focus on, of course, is our people, the people that make up the organization, ensuring that they are so tooled in order to do the work that we do. Because the truth of the matter is that we're the only special economic zone authority in the country, and we will be the only authority, such authority in the country. And so the skill set that you have to develop, truthfully, you're only going to develop it on the job. And so a robust training program is critical, right? Creating the environment that people want to work in, want to come to work every day, spend the majority of your time there. And so creating that environment is important. But of course, in the creation of such an environment, you will go through teething pains, right? You will in any change that you're going to have or effect, there are teething pains that go along with that, right? So there are just a lot of exciting opportunities. We have a team of youngsters. I mean, they're young, they're bright, and they have a different perspective and a very hopeful perspective and outlook for the country. And it shows in their work. It shows in how they show up to work every day. So that is exciting. I mean, I learn from them every day. They teach me all sorts of things, and it's just an exciting time for us, I think.
It's so certainly exciting times, and we want at this juncture to say bless up to the export evangelist. That's what he dubs himself, right? Minister Orbin Hill. So you have been certified services for the Go Global training. I wonder, how has that helped in terms of pushing businesses? You may mention of training and so forth. What does that impact of training and the sort of opportunities that would have created for local businesses?
So the Services Go Global program was a part of an initiative out of JAMPRO under the Jamaica Coalition of Services Industries. 74% of our GDP is services. Yeah. And so it was thought that we needed a dedicated entity to facilitate the growth and formalization of the services sector. Yeah. And so that program saw me being certified as a Services Go Global trainer. And what that did was I went from I participated in training or facilitated training sessions with quite a few territories across the Caribbean region in order to prepare these services companies to export their businesses. Yes. So we looked at things like marketing, website, market readiness, capacity building for the organization. Simple things like if you increase your advertising, then you're going to have to increase the capacity to answer phones because more people are going to be calling you. So that training initiative, it was very good, very useful. I mean, we had persons participate who were in the fashion sector, who were in business consulting services, and these were people from across a range of islands in the Caribbean that participated. And when I started training, this was probably about almost 10 years ago. and a lot of these companies are still in existence and have grown exponentially since that training session. It's not a program that is on offer now, but certainly it was a successful program.
It was a successful program.
The time. But the principles of it, you know, you never lose that because it's so relevant to the work that I do now.
Yes. And we applaud you for your effort, and it's quite heartwarming to know that these businesses are still improving and still making an impact for Jamaica and the wider world. You have been a part of a number of national initiatives which you have made mention of. What is the most rewarding project that you have been a part of in terms of your social economic development?
The most rewarding project that I've been a part of happened very early in my career.
Yes.
And you know, when you're young and you just start working and you know you don't know everything, but you know you don't know anything.
Yeah.
But you're so excited about the opportunity to learn and to, you know, get involved. So I worked on Cricket World Cup.
Yeah.
That was a few years ago.
Yes.
I think that was 2006. At the time, I was working at Airports Authority of Jamaica, and we had to work out the logistics of, okay, how do we facilitate all these people who will be coming into Jamaica? And it was a very good lesson in, one, managing different teams and different entities, and just being very clear and purposeful in helping people to identify their roles in it, and also helping where we see overlaps, you know, managing just a number of moving parts.
Yeah.
But it was most rewarding because at the end of the day we did it.
Yeah.
It seemed impossible at the start of it, but we did it. And you know, I took that lesson forward in everything that I do. It may seem impossible, but it can be done. You have to have a plan though.
Yes.
If you don't have a plan, you'll end up anywhere.
Yeah. So
planning is important, and you know, just that preparation is important too.
Yes. In other words, Lady Hamilton is telling us that in order for you to be successful at business, you must be intentional. You must have your strategies. You must plan. And at the end of it all, you will feel that rewarding feeling to know that you have contributed to something. It was the first of our kind, right?
Yes.
It was first of our kind. So she would have contributed to something, given birth to something that will be a part of Jamaica's history for years to come. So in addition to your roles that you would have played at the JSEZA, you would have also served on several boards, Jamaica International Financial Services Authority, and of course the Spectrum Management Authority. How do you balance all of these roles, and is there any synergy linkage within these roles that would have been beneficial to you and of course the wider Jamaica?
The balance.
Yes, balance.
The balance. Well, you know, I have to just give thanks that my office is very well run, and I do have an assistant who Kelli-Dawn who keeps me very, very much in line. I have to give her credit, and I will not pretend like I do it by myself. So if you are going to schedule a meeting with me, you have to talk to me. Right? But what is important is having the systems in place to manage your time. We all have 24 hours in a day, and everything can be done. And the truth of the matter is, you know, we talk about prioritizing, but sometimes you're going to have to ride and chew gum at the same time. There is you just have to do it. It is what it is. But what is important to me, the balance comes in spending time with my family. Right? In doing the things that are not so heavy on the economic growth and this and that, but the things that refresh and revive me. Right? That is it is that balance that allows me to keep working and keep going.
It's almost like your reset button.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So we want to encourage persons who are being drawn in different roles. It may be different roles at the one institution that you own and run, or you may be joining different roles. You may have a business and also have a 9 to 5. You must also be able to have that reset button where you are refresh yourself and come again. Because if you continue to press and press and press, you might have something called burnt out. And we don't want you to burn out. We want you to continue to press in and rise to the next level. Now, you would have been deeply involved in governance, economic development, of course. What do you see as the opportunity for Jamaica over the next 5 years, or even challenges that might hinder those opportunities?
So the opportunities for growth in the country over the next 5 years, definitely agriculture.
Yes.
And the reason why I'm pushing agriculture is because we have to eat.
Yes.
Right? We have to eat. And when we went on these different missions, people were very clear on what they wanted.
Yeah.
They wanted Jamaican produce. So that's a big opportunity. And with all the technology that we have now, we can do agriculture in a different way,
Yes.
right? With the passage of Hurricane Beryl, though, we know that there's more that we can do, and there are certain there are certain factors or risk factors that we have to account for. And so, there is that. But I think that's a big space to play. But certainly exporting of those agricultural outputs too, that's critical. In terms of other sectors of focus, logistics is big. Persons are requiring a lot of warehousing space, cold storage spaces, agro-processing too, and all of these support agriculture, right?
Yeah.
As well as the creative industries. I mean, we Jamaica is a backdrop of so many movies, so many videos. People constantly come here to take advantage of the beautiful vistas that we have and views. And so, we have a cadre of professionals within the space too that are world class.
Yeah.
And so we can take advantage of that opportunity as well. Additionally, our sporting people. I mean, sport is a whole industry by itself, on the track and off, on the field and off. And how do we retool ourselves or tool ourselves to support the growth of that industry? I think are important. And I think though that it's a live opportunity for us. So at the SEZ Authority, we want to build out zones to facilitate sport. That's one of our zones, Olympus, or creative industries zone, Xanadu, and that will be a media city where we're looking at allowing film production companies to come in to set up, to do, for example, the Bob Marley movie should have been done from start to finish in Jamaica, right? It wasn't. We also want to capitalize on the fact that we would have done very well in the development of business process outsourcing companies. Let's continue our growth of that and also include higher tech activities. So technology is big now too. That's a very big opportunity. Jamaicans are really doing big things in tech. We want to create the Caymanas Special Economic Zone, and that's being led by Port Authority. 583 acres of land to do trade, to do agro-processing, manufacturing, the like, and take advantage of our geographic location. As well as Jamaica has pharmaceutical grade limestone. So we want to capitalize on that as well with a pharmaceutical zone. So there are a number of opportunities that we have, I think, and the private sector is taking advantage of it. And the truth of the matter is not just local private sector, but overseas companies are coming in as well, and they're setting up, and they're doing very well. They're growing, they're expanding. So I think the opportunities now for anybody who's seeking to go into business. The Special Economic Zone Authority can be the catalyst that grows business, and it's also a vehicle through which your operating costs can be lowered. And when you lower your operating cost, then you're more efficient. And if you're more efficient, then you can reach the heights of growth that you would have wanted in your company. Quickly, if somebody wants to follow your footsteps, what advice would you have for them? I wouldn't advise anybody to follow my footsteps. And the reason for that is that I think that everybody has their own path.
Yeah.
I think that for me, it was a lot of prayer and guidance from God, asking God for guidance, tell me where to go.
Yeah.
I wasn't afraid to, when opportunities came, I didn't know how I was going to face it, but I didn't say no. Yeah. Because you pray for certain things. Like if you pray for patience, God is going to give you an opportunity to show patience. He's not going to instill patience in you. I mean, that's the only way you're going to learn it, by doing it. Yeah. So when I say I don't think anybody should follow my footsteps or seek to do exactly what I did, it's because I think everybody has their own path to follow, and you have to be cognizant of what you have to have a vision of where you want to go. First of all, otherwise you'll end up anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. So just be intentional. You said it earlier. Be intentional and deliberate about achieving your vision, achieving your goal. I feel like there is all of us, if we're intentional enough, will recognize that there is a true north that we're all being led towards. But sometimes, you don't know it because either your mother and father tell you from a young age that you're going to be a doctor. When that's not what you want to do. Maybe you want to, I don't know what it is. Maybe you want to dance and that's how you want to change lives, right? Maybe you want to operate a video camera. That's your talent and that's what you want to do. So I think but also people also need to be adaptable as well, right? So let's say you want to be a singer and it's not working out. There comes a point where, you have to feed your family. And so the question is, how do I pursue this dream while living? Right? Because there's still bills, there are still all these things that you have to do. So I would just say that people just need to be aware of these things and continue to pray. Continue to ask for guidance and understand that we can change paths. That's okay. You can wheel and come again. That's fine. But it's all a part of the journey.
All a part of the journey. Any quick last word for our business, potential business owners and persons who are already in business and hitting that ceiling and saying, boy, you speak like it's all good. You speak like once I'm a part of this special economic zone, it is all good for me. Any last word for those persons?
Well, I mean, for the special economic zone will facilitate growth of business. I will say it's not for everybody. I mean, we have a very clear list of sectors that can't come in and versus a very clear list of the type of companies that can't come in. But what I'd want to say to persons is that the opportunity is there. And for those who it works for, it does work. I would encourage them to reach out to the Special Economic Zone Authority. We're online, jseza.com. We're also on social media at the JSEZA, or email us info@jseza.com, and our number is 876-619-7392. We're here to facilitate persons. Even if it's an idea, come to us. Let's help you work it through.
That is certainly good to hear. And viewers and listeners, I want to encourage you to reach out to the Jamaica Special Economic Zone, and they will certainly be there to guide you, as the rest of the ministry that Sir Aubin Hill is a part of. He's a very diligent man, and I'm sure every single authority that comes under that ministry is there to help and to foster economic growth. We want to thank you, Lady Hamilton, for joining us here on the business end. I'm sure my viewers and listeners are better for it, and they would have been educated, they would have been motivated, they would have wanted to meet the next step. So your phones will be ringing off as at now. Here on the business end, we continue to tell you every day that you are the best. That's because you are the Business End Show tribe. Literally, you are the best. We can be reached at the Business End Show on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and TikTok. So until next episode, continue to be your increasing best. Thank you.
Master Coach Apostle Courtney McLean and Business Coach Zidane Sinister are powered up to share their expertise on the business end.